Musings of Genius with David Amram, Corky Siegel. Welcome. This is Life's Dream number 34. Life's Dream, Life's Dream, Life's Dream. You're in for a really great time today. Let's see what Corky is up to.
Something wrong between us, babe. You've never been like this before. There's something wrong between us, babe. You've never been like this before. Please tell me what is on your mind. Why do you treat me so? Oh, why do you treat me so, babe? Say sweet things about me, now you just put me down. You used to say sweet things about me, now you just put me down. Why do I turn you off? Why can't I turn you off? Why can't I turn you on? Can't help but feel those vibrations. I just can't help but feel a lack of communication. Something wrong between us, babe. Why can't things be like they should be? Well, I can't imagine why you've been so mean to me. Why you been mean, baby? Something wrong between us, baby. You've never been like this before. There's something wrong between us, baby. You've never been like this before. Please tell me what is on your mind. Why do you treat me so? Why do you treat me so? Say sweet things about me, now you just put me down. You used to say sweet things about me, now you just put me down. Why do I turn you off? Why can't I turn you off? Why can't I turn you off? Those vibrations, I just can't help but feel a lack of communication, something wrong between us, baby. Why can't they be like they should be? Well, I can't imagine why you've been so mean to me. No. No. No.
All right. A lot of coffee this morning. A lot of coffee.
We put that one together. In little pieces.
And that's available on which Siegel Schwall album?
It's available on one of the Siegel Schwall albums.
There you go.
I have no idea which one. I think Sleepy Hollow.
But it's available. It's available.
Let's see.
It's available in corkymusic.com/shop. So
No. Yes. Here it is.
that's the one. Available. All right. Guess what time it is?
Story time.
That's right. Whoa, going in slow motion.
Follow.
Walk this way. Walk this way.
Are we gonna do something first?
Well, you're gonna.
Oh, we're gonna show this.
Sure, we can do this
gonna show
first.
this.
So this is David Amram,
Well, that isn't.
special guest with Dizzy Gillespie.
So just a little taste, because we're going to talk more about David Amram today, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But just listen to this. It's not a very good quality, but you'll get the idea, I think.
Well, I think you will.
I think you will.
Awake yet?
Good morning. So we featured David Amram as a guest a few streams ago, and I introduced him, and I'm just going to give you a little synopsis. You know, he is the Renaissance man of the day, the great poet, philosopher, composer in residence with the New York Philharmonic, with Leonard Bernstein, friends of all the great Beat Generation people. Worked a lot with Kerouac and with Allen Ginsberg and all those people. And then I met him with Steve Goodman. We were doing the record live at the Earl of Old Town. Jim Tullio, Bonnie Kolak, David Amram, Howard Levy, and all these people gathered and performed, and it's on record. And he also played a lot with Willie Nelson, and every year he collaborated with Willie in the Farm Aid. He's done everything, you know, and of course played with Dizzy Gillespie, and his roommate was Charlie Parker. So an earlier stream with David, you could check up on it on YouTube, talks about it. And then also I want to add that Jacqueline Dixon, right around that same time, said, Corky, please talk about some politics in the current events. Always, you know, do a little of that. And so I've been trying to do a little of that. This time I'm going to have David speak for me. And this is a personal, I'm putting together another Zoom with David, with Howard Levy and Jim Tullio and Nicholas Tremolis, and just so we could hang. But he sent me a personal email, and I'm just going to read a teeny bit of it. Okay? So this is the first thing he says. This is David Amram. After 400 years of acute racism, the knuckleheads in charge of the store
have discovered that we finally have to learn a little bit about our history and all find a way to come together, which is what all of us musicians spend every day of our lives learning how to do. This wake-up call gives a new generation something to see clearly. And I pray that we all can join together, cleaning up the mess of the last 4 years. And I believe we'll do it. Okay, and then I'm going to jump to another subject, because when David writes an email, he's a poet. He's a philosopher. It's not going to be a one-page email. So this is another small section. This last March 8th, just before Cyrus the Virus came on the scene, I did a concert in Saratoga Springs where the orchestra played my Greenwich Village portraits for alto saxophone and string orchestra. And by the way, I played with the Philadelphia Orchestra at the Saratoga Springs, right, Holly?
That's right. That was, you were guest soloist with the Philadelphia Orchestra at their summer location. It was their version of Ravinia, so yes,
wow,
it is.
I'm impressed.
I'm impressed.
I'm impressed. Okay. So he did that. That was March 8th. And then next morning, Monday, March 9th, this is him speaking in my email. He says, I called my manager, Doug Yeager, to tell him about the saxophonist Ken Radnofsky, about his wonderful playing, and I wanted to talk about the great stuff scheduled for the upcoming year. I told Doug that since Ken lives in Boston area and has performed my music for years at the New England Conservatory, and with all my friends at Berkeley and the Kerouac Festival in Lowell, we could add even more events. Remember, he's 90 years old, okay? More events.
Let me just interject. Still sounds like he does on that flute. I think probably better than when he was younger. So there you go.
David was better, yeah. So he says, the Kerouac Festival in Lowell, we could add even more events to all the great things planned this December in Boston, where I was scheduled for a residency at Harvard, where they plan to perform the world premiere of Global Suite for Wild Orchestra, which they commissioned. That's him speaking. I shouldn't speak like that. So Doug listened patiently as I continued my rant, and he finally spoke. David, turn on the news. I think what's happening with this virus mess is much more serious than what we've been told to expect. We might be in the deep freeze for a long time. Everything we have planned will probably have to be postponed, and hopefully we'll be able to have most of it rescheduled. I don't recall anything ever being like this before, David. Our whole world will be changed forever. Okay, now on a little slightly lighter note. This was David's, one of his other paragraphs, and we'll sign off on this. David says, since I couldn't ever get a MacArthur grant...
Hard to believe.
Yeah. Since I couldn't ever get a MacArthur grant, which would have enabled me to sit at home and compose music day and night, I now am the recipient of the highly coveted Cyrus the Virus Composer's Grant. Cyrus the Virus Composer's Grant. And now I can sit at home and write music day and night. And I didn't even need to apply for this. And then he signs off, David, promising young composer. So we'll give David the final word here again.
Okay, let me get back over in position. This was a video that David made for his children, and to give them a bit of encouragement and words of wisdom. So we'll just all take it in as one of the kids.
Right up.
In this difficult, distressing time, we just have to keep on celebrating every precious second of being alive. Call up your old friends, call up people that you care about, call up your parents and grandparents, and or if you got kids or grandkids, give them a call. and remember that life is precious. And Charlie Parker said, now's the time, meaning the sanctity of life is every minute that we're here. So we all have to think about that, hang in there, get back to those good habits that we wanted to have of washing our hands every day, brushing our teeth, thinking positive thoughts, and not being creepy to people because you might not see them again for a while. And if they remember only your creepiness, that's not much of a legacy to leave either. So, as they say in the vernacular of my youth, you gots to be cool. So, as distressing as everything is, ever since Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden, the rents have been too high, men and women have been struggling with each other, and everybody gets sick once in a while. So just celebrate life, and we'll come out of this better and stronger and more together than ever.
Okay. So the importance of this is that David Amram is still here, still spreading his joy and his wisdom, and he will be considered in history a major moment in the history of humanity, just like other greats. And therefore, we feel compelled to take this moment to share David with you guys. Now, in case you didn't hear all the things he said there, I'm going to just repeat some of the highlights for you. He said, in this difficult, distressing time, we need to keep celebrating every precious second of being alive. Remember that life is precious. And Charlie Parker said, now is the time to honor the sanctity of every life, every minute that we're here. And then he said, and not be a creep to people because you might not see them for a while. If they remember only your creepiness, that's not much of a legacy to leave either. And so, as they say in the vernacular of my youth, you gots to be cool. And then he said, so as distressing as everything is, ever since Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden, the rents were too high. Men and women have been struggling with each other. So just celebrate life, and we will all come out better and stronger and more together than ever. So that was
Hear, hear.
that was David Amram, and you know, I got someone wanted to get together with us. Some people want us to perform things like that, and as things are actually getting worse, it seems like time has gone by, and we have this idea that time heals. And time does heal, but we think because time heals, well, it's time we could start, coughing and not covering. It's like people have gotten really loose. My friends, everyone, they've gotten really loose when it's getting worse. So I just want to leave the message that the sanctity of life, that's what this is about. This is a moment to honor the sanctity of life. So I'll just do a song and shut up, I think, right? I better shut up.
Just hang in there. We know it's long. We know it's hard, and
Yeah.
we'll try and bring as much joy as possible.
And Jacqueline Dixon asked me, say some stuff. Corky, say some stuff. My dad, Willie Dixon.
Today is your father's birthday.
You're kidding.
No, I think he
Well,
would
I guess
be.
that was why this all came up. I have no idea why this stuff comes up. It just comes up.
His birthday was on the French 4th of July.
Amazing.
Bastille Day.
But the French don't have a 4th of July. Oh, yes, they do, but it's on the 4th of July, not on the 14th. It gets confusing. Okay, so here's a song that's been highly requested. And then we're going to do a Zoom. You could go to my website, corkymusic.com/stream. Now make sure you do /stream, because if you just do corkymusic.com, you're going to be sucked into a vacuum of my participation page, my crowdfunding page that is funding these 2 new projects, a new chamber blues album called More Different Voices, and a new symphonic blues album called Symphonic Blues No. 6, which I composed in 2007. It's been performed all over the world, and we're raising funds to be able to actually create a recording so people could hear it
Before we leave the planet.
Before we leave the planet, yes. So you're going to be, if you just go to my website, you will be trapped as a prisoner forever on the participation page. You could escape through the menus, but so what? Okay. So maybe we'll see you at Zoom. corkymusic.com/stream, where all the YouTubes are also posted, and by tomorrow I'll have this YouTube up and clean up some of the problems that we've been having with the broadband and etc.
I woke up one morning around San Francisco Bay. She lay beside me. This was our last day. No tears were shed, though our hearts would soon be torn. We just started smiling, laughing, rolling in the morning, morning corn, morning corn. The blues ain't gonna get you, rolling in the morning corn. The blues ain't gonna get you, rolling in the morning corn. I spent most evenings thinking of Annalie, all the love I gave to her and all she gave to me. Since I left that afternoon, I left a love behind. I always thought that I could get her off of my mind with a little morning corn, morning corn. The blues ain't gonna get you when you're rolling in the morning corn. The blues ain't gonna get you rolling in the morning corn. Fields of laughter can't keep me from crying. Now we're not together, I don't even feel like trying. Nothing seems funny now since I went away. I'm only for that lady and I still can hear her say morning corn, morning corn. The blues ain't gonna touch you, rolling in the morning corn. The blues ain't gonna catch you, rolling in the morning corn. Dreams of Annalie, with her old dog on the floor, moving mountains and painting up the store. If anyone had anything, well, we had something more. And someday I'll go back to her, tasting the morning corn, morning corn. The blues ain't gonna get you when you're rolling in the morning corn. The blues ain't gonna some more.